In this video we're going to take a look at some of the common simple math functions that are available in Excel. These are ones that are used a lot, and because they're used so often they're on the Home tab over here in the editing group. They're under the AutoSum button here, and there are 5 functions. We're going to take a look at all 5 of them, and before we do that we need some data to play with. So let's use our autofill feature here to give ourselves a little bit of data to play with. I'm just going to get the numbers from 1 through 20. And now let's go up here and let's pick our sum function. And if you put a sum function at the bottom of a range of numbers like this by using the button, it automatically assumes that you want all of the numbers that are in the column above. So it automatically assumes we want the range A1 to A20. The colon here means everything in between. So I want everything from A1 to A20, and that's called a range in Excel. And it does one nice thing for us here, puts a dancing line around the data that's going to sum, so we can verify that that's really the right data. And when you're convinced it's got the right data, then all you have to do is hit the enter key, and it tells us that the sum of all of those numbers is 210. And like any other formula in Excel, it automatically updates. If I go up here and I delete the number 10, the sum automatically gets updated down here to 200. I'm going to do a Control Z to put that back in there like it was before. Okay, and I'm going to go down here and delete this, and we're going to try it again. But before we try it again, I'm going to delete one of the numbers in my range here. Okay, so there's nothing in cell A10, and I'm going to go down here to the bottom of my column of numbers again. And if you want the AutoSum function as opposed to one of these other ones, you don't have to click on the down arrow. You can just click on the AutoSum button. So I'm going to click on the AutoSum button, and again it's trying to guess what I want to sum. And because there's a blank here, it stops. It just looks for a range of continuous numbers here, and if there's a gap, it'll stop. So if that's what I want, then I'm fine. But if there's a gap in the numbers that I want to sum, then I can't just take Excel's guess here. I have to go in and change it. And there's 2 ways to change it. I can just go down here and directly edit the A11 and make it an A1. Or what I think is the easiest way is just take your mouse and drag it over the stuff that you want to add. And when the dancing line is around the correct numbers and you can verify that the formula is correct down here, then you can go ahead and hit the enter key. So that's something you need to be careful of. If there are any gaps in the numbers that you want to add up, make sure that you don't just take Excel's word for what it's trying to add up, but you go in and select the data yourself. Okay, let's go back and put the number 10 back in here like it was before. And let's take a look at some of the other functions. I'm going to put those up here. And one of the functions is the average function. Now, Excel always tries to guess what it is that you're doing, so it looks for the closest numbers. There are no numbers above it, but there's a number over here, so it assumes that that's what I want to average, but that's not what I want. So again, the easiest way to do it, I could type A1 to B20 here, but I think the easiest way to do it is just take your mouse and drag it over those numbers and then hit the enter key. Okay, and what the average function does is it adds up all of the numbers in all the cells that are in the range, and it divides by the number of cells that have a number in them. So if I had some blanks in here, let's take a whole bunch of these here and just delete them and make them blank. And now what it's giving us is the average of the numbers from 1 to 10, which is 5.5. So even though when I double click on this and it shows me the range is all this down here, it does not treat those as zeros and divide by 20. It just takes the average of the cells that actually have numbers in them. So it's going to take 1 through 10, add it up, and divide by the number 10. And I'm going to do a Control Z here to bring my numbers back. And that's the average function. Now, let's take a look at some of the other ones. There's several versions of the count function. The plain old count function, which is what we get here, just the word count. What it does is it counts how many numbers are in a range of cells. And again, Excel is trying to guess here, and it's guessing wrong. That's not what I want. And so we'll fix it here by just dragging the mouse over the numbers that we do want to count. And when we verify that, hit the enter key, and it should tell us there are 20 numbers there. If I go over here and I delete one of the numbers, it should tell me there are 19. And I'm going to do a Control-Z to bring that back, and that's the count function. If there's text in a cell, text does not get counted. The function is not named count numbers, it's just named count, but the description of it up here accurately tells what it does. It just counts the cells that have numbers in them. Okay, now two more functions here. Max is the maximum, and it's guessing wrong again, so let's go over here and drag the mouse over the numbers that we want to find the maximum of. Hit the enter key, and it tells me the maximum number in that range is 20. If I go back in here and type a different number, again everything automatically updates, and I get the maximum is now the number 50. Let's do a Control-Z to get our list back the way it was before, and we'll do one more function, and that's the min function, which is short for minimum. And again, it's picking the wrong numbers, so we have to tell it where the right numbers are, and the smallest number in that list is 1, so that's what we should get for the answer. And all of these functions, like anything else in Excel, they automatically update as soon as the numbers change that are involved in those formulas. And those are the 5 basic math functions that are available on the Home tab.